Come on early. Go on.
Oh man, breaking rules already.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
Don't drop the SH word again.
And
then one of the weird words I almost said the other day is piss.
I know.
I was like, oh.
I think we talked about tits or something.
Yeah, some weird words are on there.
Yeah, like, I did shy it because I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it, but.
Yeah, honestly, like, the only reason they're worried is not many people listen to their station. It's just, they say if sometime a government person listens, they hear that shut down. So, I don't know if they probably listen once or twice a year. So.
Today's the day.
Yeah, today's the day. Oh boy.
There we go.
Can you hear?
Yeah, the right one was starting to cut out, but I got it.
The opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of the station, USD Department of Media and Journalism, or the University of South Dakota. Hello and welcome to USD Movie Talk here on KOR 91.1 FM in Vermillion, South Dakota. In the Al Newhart building, I'm your host Luke Bryant, and I hope everyone out there is having a good Friday. And this is a show where we discuss the hottest movie news of the past week. USD Movie Talk will air every Friday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. And don't forget to send in any questions to the official email page of USD Movie Talk at usdmovietalk@gmail.com, all lowercase. Also like us on Facebook at USD Movie Talk and follow us on Twitter as well at USD Movie Talk. Only questions sent into our email will air on the show for the time being. And also joining us today for the second time here on USD Movie Talk is special guest Luke Larson.
It's good to be back by popular demand.
Now it's time to move on with the first topic of the week, which is the box office results. Taking home the top spot was Home with $52.11 million in its first weekend. Get Hard bringing in $33.8 million its opening weekend. Insurgent bringing in $21.54 million in its second weekend. Cinderella with $17 million in its third weekend for a grand total of $149.5 million. And It Follows coming in fifth with $3.81 million in its third weekend, but it's also technically its opening weekend. They've kind of released in small theaters. Yep. So I'll just start. I was actually quite surprised by Home, how much that took.
Me too, yeah. Because I mean, they must have just purely marketed this to, children and kids shows, because I have not seen barely anything for this, and honestly, it kind of got mediocre reviews.
It did, yeah.
So, I mean, that definitely showed me how big of a market, children and family is,
No, yeah, I thought the market was great for it. I saw some stuff about it, I watched the trailer. I think they're very happy with that, but I just looked up, their also production budget was $135 million, which is quite a lot for an animated film. Yeah. But I think they gotta be happy with that, because it's like, in the time of like animation movies coming out and they're so good, that one, like you said, I didn't think that wouldn't be as good, just because, and they got mediocre reviews, so I think they should be happy about that. And I remember opening up my phone, just kind of looking, thinking, oh, it's probably gonna make 30-some million, still win over Get Hard, and all of a sudden 52. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think it's not gonna stay number one, obviously.
No, I don't think so.
Furious 7 coming out here.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah, and then Get Hard, they got to be somewhat happy with $33 million.
Seems like that's pretty much what I thought it'd make, if not less. Like, I thought it did better than it.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, its production budget was only $40 million, so
dang.
one week already paid for the film, almost.
It's probably paid for right now.
It's $41 million, and then marketing costs, so they'll need a little bit more to cover that, but they'll get more money internationally.
Yeah.
Oh, and same with Home too. I'm sure they'll get quite a bit internationally.
Yeah.
And then Insurgent, that's quite a big drop off.
What was it last week?
It was, I believe, we'll check.
It was number one, right?
Yep. Actually, I don't know if it's that big. It was definitely a 50% drop. which is pretty good. Usually you
That's
shoot
not
for that.
bad, yeah.
I know Transformers that one time had like a 78%. That was awful. Okay, let's see. Yeah, 58.8% drop.
Yeah.
But I think it got decent reviews. Same kind of Divergent. I'm not interested in those two.
No, and that's kind of what I think too. Is like the people who wanted to see it have probably seen it within, if not the first week, then this second week.
Yep. And then I don't know how many people are going back to it to see it a lot. You know.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then Cinderella, which is good for its 17 million, its third weekend. It's made a lot of money
Yeah.
and whatnot, so that's good for them. I thought that was pretty good, bringing 17 million. I think they'll probably stay in the top 5
I think
again.
because of Cinderella, this is why like we're seeing so many Disney movies being announced to be made live action, because Maleficent, like, again, that was kind of one that got mediocre to not great reviews. So that was kind of like, maybe we'll do it. And then this one, like, they knew it was going to be big, but I don't think they thought it was going to be this big.
Yeah.
And it was really made, like, from what I hear, really well. And they kind of, I don't know, they just did it very faithfully. So if they stick to that script, I'd be excited to see, you know, what they do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see the movie today actually.
Oh.
Check it out. So, and then It Follows, which I just out of nowhere is just talking about on Rotten Tomatoes, and they got a 95% rating from critics.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I heard it's kind of like a throwback, retro, kind of modeling itself after the 80s horror movies, kind of slasher films, and yet a really modern, you know, like, twist to it that it's like got that like throwback feel, but it's not super campy, you know, or anything. It's all I've heard is really good things about it. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not a horror fan, so I probably won't check it out. But if it's got that good a rating, someone's like, we should watch it, I'll probably check it out for sure.
I was gonna go to it actually tomorrow.
You were?
Yeah.
All right. Well then, so that's 2 of the movies. I don't know if I'll get to see Get Hard. I don't know.
For me, it didn't look all that great. It looked kind of.
And they seem to put a lot of funny moments in trailers.
They
like
did,
anything that kind of made me laugh. It's just like when you see it in the theater now, it's like
Yeah.
that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so that is the box office results of this past week. Now it is time to move on with some of the bigger news of the week. And we're just talking about Disney announcing. They actually announced 2 films bringing to live action. The first one is Disney announced a Mulan movie will be brought to live action based off the story of Mulan and kind of based off the animated film. Mulan now joins the other animated films coming to the big screen in Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, and a sequel to Alice in Wonderland, and then we'll talk about the next movie Disney announced. So, Luke, what did you think about? Are you a big Mulan fan at all?
I really liked it a lot, but I'm actually really excited about it because I think this is a movie where you can really dive deep into the mythology and like have you seen Kill Bill?
No, I need to see those.
Okay. Because some of those sequences in there where he really throws homages to the old Chinese and Japanese, kung fu and samurai movies, like that would be so cool to do. Like you could still have it fun and light, but just to be in that world and like the mythology and just like I don't know. I'm really excited about it because this like the movie was good and it actually I think it's got a great chance for a young Asian actress to get her name out there because that's a strong female character that we don't get very often, and a really good villain too.
Shang
Mongol.
Yu.
Yeah. Really good. So I'm actually really excited about it. I think it could be really good.
I agree. And then the great thing about it is, because it's in the Mulan animated film's like 90 minutes, which is all an animated film like that.
Usually they are, yeah.
And the great thing about it is there's so much area they can, like, if I'm not saying they'd stick to the exact same storyline because that would be repetitive, but if they do bits and pieces, they could stretch out some pieces, like the training. You know how they train in one song, which it's really cool. But like you could definitely train her more. You can show more. Yeah. So
She's trained.
Yeah. No, I love the Mulan, and I actually watched it probably 2 days ago, I think, or just scenes I pulled up on Netflix and watched some scenes. It's just that is great. I hope they bring back Eddie Murphy as a Mushu.
Yeah, I hope so too.
And then I mean they better have the three main guys that are it's Yao, Ling, and then the really big guy. You know those three.
Mm-hmm.
Those three are probably my favorite characters in the film,
They were,
just because they interact with so many people. And
I hope they keep it like a smart kind of humor, like it was in the animated film, and not just go for childish potty humor where you know, like where the dragon's just making fart jokes. You know, like I could see where it might go down that road, but this is such a rich property. I don't think they will, and I hope they give it to like a young director as well, kind of like a lesser known guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And like you said, I hope they don't. You touched on it perfectly. Just don't take it too. Because I mean, it is war.
Yeah.
You can't really.
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny at times when you watch it, and they have that
Mm-hmm.
comedic relief. But then all of a sudden, like even that mountain battle, that was one of the
that's
best.
the one I always think of. Yeah.
That's one of the great.
Ooh.
I love that scene. How it's just like, it's like, it's pretty funny though, because that army that they have, that little small one, that
with on the miniature pony.
what's his name? Who's the Mulan's army? What's the name of that?
I haven't seen it for.
The main guy, not the main guy, but the guy who's leading him, whose father dies.
Okay.
Spoiler if you haven't seen it. It's been like 20 years since that movie came out.
I think
So,
we're okay.
oh my gosh, what's his name? I'm gonna look it up real quick, but it's kind of funny if you watch it again. That army, as they keep traveling, gets smaller and smaller.
Really?
It's actually really They start out like
Huge. Yeah, I remember that. And it's
I gotta look it up.
It's such an epic shot when it's kind of zooming out and all those.
The Huns.
Yeah, the Huns are coming down.
And you just hear that noise.
Oh.
When they're all chanting, you kind of hear like a few chants, and then all of a sudden you hear them all, and it's just like...
They better keep that villain as scary as he was in that
That's
film.
a dark movie,
Yeah.
actually. If you watch it...
I loved it when I was a kid, because that dude scared the crap out of me. You know, like, I mean... They better not shy away from that. They better not, like, give... I don't even want a backstory for him at all. I just
No, he doesn't need one.
That scary. Like,
I mean, the guy's name is Shang. Yeah, Shang. That's what
that
it was.
sounds right.
So, Shang's our... First we'll touch on... Who actually did the voice of Shan Yu? He had a great voice in that, too. He barely talked, but...
Yeah.
But like you said, that movie is so, like... It's kind of dark, because he's just, like... That one scene where they found two Imperial officers, and they're like, congrats, you found us. And it's two against this whole army. And they're like, go tell your emperor to send his strongest men. And then as they're running away, he asks this guy with the arrows, he asks him how many men it takes to deliver a message. And the guy pulls out an arrow and says, just one. And then they cut the scene.
Yeah.
And most kids don't pick up on that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And then that he's like, we gotta return that doll to there's a girl that wants her doll back. And then you like see the village, and
it's burned to the
there's nothing
ground.
left. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
It's just like he just killed a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like,
and they just got done singing a song, and it leads up to that, so you feel like that lighting. You're like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
no. And then all of a sudden you come across that army. They just leave him on the ground too. Like he's pretty ruthless. But yeah, Shang's army. Because when Mulan goes and trains, they have like 40 men and whatnot, and then they're singing and all that, and they keep moving along, and all of a sudden that mountain scene comes up. They show like 10 guys.
Yeah.
it's really funny. I don't know where the other guys are probably like, screw this, and ran away.
Yeah.
But no, that mountain scene's by far my favorite one.
I think that's the one that sticks when he like throws his hawk in the air and stuff, and then it like lands on him.
Yeah, and then just the fact that
Coming down.
taking that cannon, shooting for an avalanche, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking out the leader, because then you're all gonna die. So, but okay, so that is the Mulan news, and now moving on to another Disney set of news. Yesterday, Disney announced a live-action Winnie the Pooh movie is in development with writer and director Alex Ross Perry will be at the helm. And they gave a brief description. He said it will be a re-imaging, which will feature a grown-up Christopher Robin, who ends up reuniting with his older friends, Winnie, Tigger,
Piglet.
Piglet, and Eeyore, right? Is that
And
it?
Rabbit.
And Rabbit. Just Rabbit?
Thing.
They all have good names, and he just has Rabbit. Oh, Rabbit's the cranky one all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll let you start, because...
Well, first of all, what is Alex Ross Perry? I'm not really familiar with.
I'll pull it up real quick.
Okay. You know, when I was younger, I was a huge Winnie the Pooh fan. I mean, before I could talk, I was watching Winnie the Pooh movie, and I was saying Gaga for Tigger, and I would, I don't remember this, but my mom tells me about it, but I would, like, sometimes just lift up my shirt and show my belly, and she was like, couldn't figure out what I was doing, and then I did it while I was watching Pooh, because his shirt is short, his belly is showing, and I was like trying to be Pooh, but, so I've always liked Pooh. I'm not really sure how I feel about this, just because it was so good as an animated, and like, I'm just interested to see what they do with it, but like, I'm just glad they're going in a different direction than just redoing the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, he didn't, like, he's grown up, so would he really, like, come back and play with his toys again? And
I honestly don't even know how it starts, how they're even...
well, because it's kind of like, it's basically, he, like, has his stuffed animals, and then he, like, goes to the woods. Kind of, like, it starts out real, like, live action, you see, like, the stuffed toys, and then he's, like... It's basically like Christopher Robin playing with his toys, but they're like in his imagination, kind of, you know, pretty much. And so I don't know if it's gonna be his kid or if it's actually gonna be like him, you know, like if he gives his toys to his kids, or I mean they could go any way, but I'm just kind of, I don't know, it's not really, I don't know, it's a really good world though, and it's not too lighthearted or anything. It's not just like silly and over the top. It's just kind of, they're just friends, and they all, like, if you look it up, each one of those characters has like some kind of deficiency or disorder. Like Tigger is ADHD, Pooh is like, I forget what it is. The rabbit, I don't know if that's his name, but he has OCD, and Eeyore is you know, just lazy, and Piglet is frantic, and so each one of them has like a specific, like, something wrong with them, and they're all friends, and but it's like, I'm just interested to see what they're gonna do with it. I'm not super excited, but I'll definitely check it out. So.
Yeah. Alex Ross Perry has directed and wrote most of his own. Anytime he writes, he usually directs his own film.
Okay.
He's done 5 movies in the past 6 years, so that's pretty good.
Wow.
He's directed Queen of Earth, Listen Up, Philip, The Sixth Year, which is just a segment of him directing The Color Wheel and Impolex. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. I'm sure he'll do great and stuff. I loved Winnie the Pooh when I was a kid, but it's not like a Mulan where I can go back and I can enjoy it. It's like, I just can't.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how. I'm not too excited about it, but
Did you watch the show, The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh?
I watched a few. I had a couple movies too. I'd watch,
Yeah.
and it was good. I liked it and stuff. And I remember going to Disneyland or Epcot Center actually, and I won a big Eeyore
Awesome.
thing. So I don't know. I think it might still be at my house actually. But I think the problem though with Winnie the Pooh is it's not like Mulan where it's revisited. Winnie the Pooh kind of, it's not as popular like it used to be. I don't know, maybe it is. I
think you're right. And the thing about, too, is like Winnie the Pooh, in all honesty, like I loved it, but I can see where a lot of people would just think of it as boring because there's not a lot of action. There's not a lot of like super things that happen. It's just friends hanging out, and some minor thing is like the problem, and they have to fix it with friendship. Like, but and Eeyore is depression. I just thought of that too. Like,
yeah,
but like that's a cool aspect of it.
It is
and
very
you
cool.
could like, if you played that up more, because it's obviously very subtle in the movies and shows and stuff. But if you could play that up more, I think that'd be a really interesting, like, give them like an actual big problem to deal with. You know, like that maybe kids would actually be dealing with. I'm not sure what that would be. You know, but Because I mean, obviously, like, kid shows and movies are, the best way to teach kids lessons and stuff, because they're going to sit down and watch it and subconsciously learn that and stuff. So I think the main message of it would be, like, how to deal with people that are different from you and stuff. But yeah, it is kind of like Mulan is definitely full of action and, like, has a really cool, like, backstory and mythology, and you really get into it. But, like, yeah, with Winnie the Pooh, it's just kind of, meandering through. And so, but the next thing about that is there's a lot to build from. Like, Mulan, like, already has this great foundation, so you kind of have to live up to expectations. But with Pooh, you could kind of put your own spin on it and make it really interesting. So.
And I think it'll definitely hit the kids too. When you see when they'll do like I would think they would do like a CGI type of thing like they did in Ted 2 or Ted and Ted 2. Kind of like, I'm not saying it's gonna be that teddy bear. That'd be awful for that. It'd be awesome, but it'd just be awful for that world.
Yeah.
I think a lot of I think a lot of parents are thinking, "Dang it, Disney! I'm gonna take my kids to it."
Yeah.
So when they see that trailer, they're just gonna look at it and they're not gonna be happy. But so that any other touch up on it at all? All right, so that is the Winnie the Pooh news from Disney. So now they've announced 5 films that'll be turning from animated to live action. That'd be Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Mulan, Winnie the Pooh, and Alice in Wonderland, which is a sequel to the first one they made.
Which made a lot of money.
It made a lot of money. Yeah. It did. Okay, and now moving on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, which surprisingly has been back to back on this show now. They have casted Stephen Amell, who portrays the character Green Arrow in the television series Arrow. Amell has landed the role of Casey Jones, who is a vigilante but later becomes an ally for the Turtles. And Casey Jones he always does, when he fights crime, is like a hockey mask. It's kind of like a Jason, but he uses like clubs and hockey sticks and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I like that casting choice. I think it's great because I actually watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie online. I watched it. It was good. It was all right.
Serviceable.
It was. I could see the director screwing it up. I don't like his work. It's Jonathan Liesman. He directed Wrath of the Titans, Battle Los Angeles. He just hasn't directed a lot of good films. But the thing I do give him though is usually when he has action scenes, he does pretty good. And that I noticed there's good action scenes in that. The dialogue was okay. But the transitions to how they get to places was just kind of ridiculous. But I thought it was good. And he's leaving the project. They don't sign him. They signed a new director. So I thought he left enough for someone else to change. The guy directed Earth to Echo, which got pretty good reviews from my understanding.
I think people's main complaint with that movie was just that it was pretty blatantly borrowing from E.T. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, E.T. is such a great film that it was kind of like, I think that's people's main complaint with it, but
yeah.
Other than that.
But, so I'm excited, and then Stephen Amell, because they have the Turtles now, and then they have, I can't remember the names of the characters, but a rhino and a hippo.
Yeah,
are
Rocksteady and,
is it a hippo? I know it's a rhino, but
might be a warthog or something.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It's a warthog.
Yeah, it's Rocksteady and is it Beatbox? One of those Rocksteady. I forget the other.
I can't remember the name either. But yeah, I like the cast because I think Stephen Amell is a really good actor. I haven't watched Arrow. I think I've seen 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think Arrow's a popular show and it was fine, but not that like we're reviewing Arrow, but I didn't necessarily like it that much because I was like, Green Arrow's not Batman. I mean, it was. I know that he's like a billionaire, but like Oliver Quinn is like supposed to be like funny and fun and like kind of weird and quirky, not like brooding and dark billionaire that hides in the dark. And I mean, like the first episode even like is basically Batman Begins. Like, it's kind of like, come on, Which I get because people are like, oh, he's so cool, but really it's just because of Batman. But anyway, yeah, I think he's a fine actor. But the thing I really like about Stephen Amell is you can tell he really cares about, like, Arrow. And
Yeah, he does.
pretty much everything he's in, and he's so passionate about it. He won't just phone this in. And Casey Jones is a beloved character and somebody that the audience is supposed to connect with. And I think he could bring, hopefully they don't do that same thing, where they just try to make him brooding and cool. I hope he's, funny and like he should be.
He was pretty funny in the old. I love the old Teenage Mutant Ninja.
Yeah.
That first one. He was brutal, but he was also really funny.
I mean, he killed. Spoiler alert. He killed Shredder. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what that was, a trash compactor or something.
Yeah, he was in there.
He was like, oops.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just smashed it, and you're like, dang. And him, yeah, and you can definitely see Stephen Amell ending up with April O'Neil, Megan Fox, too,
Oh, yeah. But, going back to what you said, he's very dedicated, which is true, because I watched an interview with him when he was talking about Green Arrow, and he's talking with them and stuff, and then Flash, a TV series, was coming out.
Yeah.
And he was actually, because he says he's very big into the TV world and like the movie world separate, and someone asked him, what about the movie world, what are you going to do with that? He said he had a good talk with Warner Brothers and they have a good plan, but he was really mad at them because when Arrow's been out for a while, and then when Flash came out, he started becoming good friends with the guy at Flash, kind of give him tips and stuff, what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Their first episode came out, and then right before the second one came out that day, right before it was going to come out later that night, Warner Brothers announced he was going to be the Flash in the movie world, and he was pretty ticked off about that. I think Warner Brothers still owns Arrow too and stuff like that.
Yeah, they own all the DC.
And he didn't have anything to say. He didn't have any. He just straight out said, I'm not. They could have done that way better. He goes,
Yeah.
if you're gonna make a TV series and you have someone who's coming up and he's a good actor and he's devoted, and you just throw him under the rug like that and say, he's like, obviously he wasn't gonna be the Flash in the movie.
Right.
We all knew that,
Mm-hmm.
but he said the way they could have announced it later, a lot later. I mean, because why announce?
That takes some balls to say that.
And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, because like the Flash, I don't know, unless he's gonna have a quick cameo. Why even? We don't even announce it. That you know what I mean?
I mean, when is that coming out? It's
3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
they announced Black Panther for Marvel, but the thing is, he's gonna be in Avengers: Age of Ultron real quick.
Yeah.
It's totally different because it's like why announce? Oh, hey, the Flash is gonna be here in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It's like the only reason I think of it is, and I doubt it's even gonna work, is for some people, because he's a really unknown actor, is maybe some people are like, oh, we'll watch his
Mm-hmm.
movies that build up, but it's like, those are gonna be the hardcore dedicated
Yeah.
fans that do that.
I think they just didn't think of the TV. They
No, I
weren't
don't
just
think-
like, screw them. They didn't.
That's
they didn't purposely do it. They were just. TV doesn't make them, a lot of
Mm-mm.
money like the
No.
movies do, and so their first priority is this, their universe of superhero movies. So when they when they casted him, they were like, all right, let's announce it, not thinking of the, TV. So I don't think they did it like just to be like, hey, we're Warner, we do whatever we want,
No, yeah.
But
And the thing is, the one thing DC's doing pretty well is the TV series too.
Yeah.
A lot better than the movies. The
And
movies are doing fine, but like they haven't had
Mhm.
much to show
right,
for.
outside like ones that people really loved outside of Nolan's trilogy.
Yeah. So, all right. So that is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
TTT2.
Yeah, it's news with Stephen Amell, who's gonna be playing Casey Jones. The movie is set to hit theaters next year, and it's shooting in about less than a month. So it's good they got him casted and ready to go, which I think they knew about that for a while now.
Oh yeah, for
Definitely.
sure. Yeah.
So now moving on to the next bit of news is 2 sets of Deadpool news. We'll start first. Deadpool, which stars Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, hits theaters in February of 2016. Released its official synopsis, and I'll read it real quick. Deadpool tells the origin story of former Special Forces operative turned mercenary Wade Wilson, who, after being subject to a rogue experiment that leaves him with an accelerated healing powers, adopts the alter ego Deadpool. Armed with his new abilities and a dark, twisted sense of humor, Deadpool hunts down the man who destroyed his life. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think that's about as standard as you can get for Deadpool. And I don't want to spoil anything, but like I hope they keep how he, why he took on the name Deadpool, like, you know, from the comics. I hope they keep that. I think they will.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just hoping that he isn't just like, oh, I'm Deadpool, you know, because that's a really, really cool story.
It is. And they released a couple, actually they didn't release a couple photos of people took pictures and posted them online of Ryan Reynolds on set without, he actually, he won't be in the Deadpool costume every scene, which is kind of cool. I don't know Deadpool that well. I don't know how often he gets out of it, but it shows him he doesn't have the taped up mouth, like, that's gone. But what he has is, he does have some scars. He just kind of scars around his face. He looks really rough, but he's not just walking around just, you know, hey, I'm Wade Wilson. He's hiding. He has his hood up.
Okay.
He had like a bandana over his head. I cover up the mic there, but over his face. And then a couple shots of him just kind of, he's definitely looking, he's trying to, I think he's meeting someone.
Sure.
At a strip club. It was really funny. His arms dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get his name right.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Yeah, well, like his face, the reason it's all covered up is because he's badly like scarred and burned. So that's cool. I didn't actually see that picture, so
there's a lot. I'm
glad that it's not just like one scratch on his face.
They're not high quality. They're very they're low quality photos, but you can tell.
And I hope it's not just like he has like 2 scars.
No.
You know,
T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
The Weasel.
Yeah. That's right.
But you know, I was reading. They said the scene will take place at a strip club, which makes sense for a Deadpool movie, which is just really funny. Which is also, well, we'll talk about this real quick now. Deadpool first came out saying PG-13, and now it's official. It's going to be rated R.
Yeah.
It'll be our first superhero rated R film.
Yes.
So it's kind of a risk, but I think
the perfect one.
Yeah, it has to be.
I mean, ever since it like got announced, they're finally going to do this after years of Ryan Reynolds trying to get this going. And there was some, you know, they hadn't put an official rating on it until now. And people were like, is it going to be PG-13? And I think the studio really was thinking that they should do it PG-13 because people think that, like, I don't think it's as much anymore, but they used to think that you won't make as much money with a rated R movie because not as many people will go to see it. But that's just not true anymore. I mean, rated R movies make a lot more, you know, now. And it has to be rated R. You could do a PG-13 and it would be a fine movie, but it wouldn't be Deadpool. It wouldn't be the Deadpool that everybody knows and loves, and so there's nothing to not like about what's happening here.
Yeah, I'm super excited just because it's like it's gonna be our first rated R superhero film, so it's gonna be fun.
And they're gonna go all out because Deadpool is so